everybody, welcome back to Unite to Heal. This is a very special, Amudim did this 100 hours of amazing programming to help people struggling with mental health issues. And I don't want to say that I was the most impactful hour of the 100 hours. Well, I should say we. But this was a legendary interview that I did with the Non Jewish Nanny, who, as it turns out, now that we're back in our second interview, is the Now Jewish Nanny, which is so exciting. And again, I don't like to take credit for things. Like, did I have the best hour of the 100 hour? Of course I did. Am I personally responsible for her conversion? Of course I am. Or maybe not. We'll find out shortly. Welcome back. Adriana, I'm just so excited that you're here, and I'm so excited that you're Jewish.
Amen. I'm so excited to be Jewish, and I'm so excited to be with you in person.
But why now, of all the times, to turn into a Jew?
I know.
This is probably not the best. Although, I think it is the best time. Where a lot of people on the outside could look in and think, oh my goodness, there's so much anti-Semitism and hatred. Why would you choose to be Jewish now? I say now is the best time because as a people, we are united more than ever. You know what I mean? I think that the more hatred that people have towards us, the more we unite. The more we're united and the more we're ignited.
Yeah.
And inspired.
Ignited, inspired.
So tell us about your inspiration and ignition. Is that a word? Yeah.
Yeah. As many of you know, yes, I was a nanny for Jewish families, but Orthodox Jewish families, really from families in Boca. Last time we interviewed, it was Zoom. I was in my apartment in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. But as far as why did I choose to be Jewish now? I mean, obviously not the most convenient time, just like it wasn't convenient that I was known for being a famous non-Jew during my conversion either. But that's not how conversions work. But exactly what you're saying. I was davening in shul on October 7th for Simchas Torah. I was there and everybody was talking about the news. And then someone came over to me and said, are you sure you don't want to stay non-Jewish nanny? My Beis Din, they say, in case you haven't noticed, the Jews are not so popular right now. And my only answer to that was seeing the way that the world reacted, the way the non-Jews and anti-Semites reacted towards October 7th, and seeing the things that happened to Jews on October 7th and after, it only made me want to be Jewish more because I always say that at that point, I would never want to even be confused to be a non-Jew. I wouldn't even want to be associated with the other side that maybe doesn't support this, Israel, good people, morals. In a short answer, obviously it's a whole speech and then this is supposed to be more of a comedic, nice, fun interview.
No, but it is fascinating to me, the timing of it all. And I think that perhaps, God had something to do with giving you this first gig as a nanny, giving you an Orthodox Jewish family.
Totally.
Why would God put you there?
Why would they hire me? I don't even know.
It's because you're adorable.
I was fun, I was cute, whatever, but I was I knew nothing about Judaism, kosher, I didn't dress nias, I got kicked off their school's campus one time. I had to learn everything, but I would say I learned it through the beautiful eyes of my nanny kids. And back then, in our interview, way back then, I wasn't converting. I really did just love Judaism. I just told them, I remember when we filmed that, I was literally getting ready to go meet my friends, at the bar after, whatever. Was totally not converting. But I still had my love for Judaism. But over a long period of time, I always say, my love for both of my worlds grew. And eventually, my love for the Jewish world just outshined, anything else in my world. And I just had to become Jewish.
That's incredible. But be honest, when you were first exposed to this family, you were probably they were doing a lot of weird stuff. Why can't they carry in their pockets on the Sabbath?
You don't even notice that because they don't point it out. But the wig was obviously something that I always talk about. I remember the first time I saw the wig, I was what
happened to her?
Yeah, well, I literally thought that she was sick or something.
Right. God forbid. Turns out she's just so connected to God, and there is, it's not is it a law? I think it's a law to cover your head, right? Or is it a custom? No, I think that's a law.
It says in the Torah.
Yeah, it says in the Torah. That's pretty much a law.
Obviously, when I went to rabbis here, so they're coming for us. But the ways you cover your hair is what's the big argument. But hair covering. I always think hair covering is interesting because Muslims cover their hair, Catholics and even some Christians will cover their hair.
Yeah.
Even Amish people. I don't know. I just feel hair covering is very through a lot of different religions. It's interesting to me.
It's through all the religions. Well, let's be honest. You know, a lot of the other religions have copied a lot of our stuff. But anyway, the point is...
the original blueprint, must have mentioned it, clearly.
Yes. I always say that, you know, because we have Shabbos, the Sabbath.
Yeah.
And then... you know, years later, the Christians came along and they went, wait, we want a Sabbath. Okay, how about Sunday? Because the Jews have Saturday. And then the Muslims came along years later and said, what about us? We want a Sabbath. And they went, and the weekend's taken. All right, we'll take Friday. So everybody gets a Sabbath because how much do you love Shabbos? How much do you love Shabbos. A day to just, I call it connecting by disconnecting. Where you just get to disconnect from the world and then connect to yourself, your community, to God, your family, your friends. What do you think about Shabbos?
Even back to those nanny kids back then, like when I would leave my phone in the car and babysit for them on a Chag or Shabbos, I would feel more alive and more present doing the most mundane, basic things like playing outside with my nanny kids, like then even traveling the world with my phone and you know, on boats and planes, like whatever you might do that you can't do on Shabbos. Like the more elaborate of the life, I actually, when I was compared it to like keeping Shabbos, I felt more alive, wholesome, and I mean to this day, like I never once think like, oh no, it's Shabbos. Like I'm always looking forward. They say like we're supposed to be counting every single day towards Shabbos. Like today is like the third day till Shabbos or whatever. I'm excited. Tomorrow Shabbos.
Tomorrow,
so
I literally can't
Shabbos
wait for Shabbos. People don't realize that, and you as an influencer, you have to be on your phone constantly, posting and just checking numbers, and everything is on the phone. To take that and not have it in your pocket, to have it off for 25 hours. Isn't that the greatest?
The best.
It's the greatest. I'm telling you, if there was no Judaism, no religion, I would still say one day a week, I'm not touching this.
Yeah. And even like when I was converting, like before I was converting, I used to use Shabbos, like all the Jews would log off. I'm like, thank God. Like they're off. They're offline. They're not going to bother me anymore. I can get that back. I can catch up on all their messages. And no one's going to respond back in 2 seconds and then pile up the messages again. I can edit all my videos. I can schedule everything to post. And then I realized exactly, I was 24/7 working. And then I got really scared when it was time for me to keep Shabbos. I'm like, but when will I edit my videos? But when will I do all this? Like that was my video editing day. That was my catch-up day. And
But when you were first exposed to all of this, because with Shabbos comes a lot of rules and a lot of laws of what you're not allowed to do, the 39 malachot, all these things you can't do.
The 39 malachas, but then like the rabbis just added in, but also this. And also this.
39 was not enough. Let's add another 4,820.
They really are needed though.
They are needed, and it makes Shabbos holy, it sanctifies it, it makes it more beautiful. But didn't your first exposure to all this make you say, wait a minute, this is almost like OCD in a way. This is almost like, because to me,
maybe that's why I like it.
What's that?
Maybe that's why I like it.
Yeah. No, I love all the rituals and customs. I love them. Most of them, at least. Fasting I could do without. I love eating too. But like when you first see a whole family doing these things that were so foreign to you, you must have at first, before you fell in love with it, said, this is a little bit odd. Be honest.
It was more so like I'd run into these problems. Like I always remember the day that the sukkah materials showed up, a big pile of like PVC pipes and like a tent looking thing is like all folded up in the back. And like, mind you, this family at the time I was babysitting for, like they had a nice house, okay? And like they had like a nice covering already. And the little boy, I'm like, what is this? They're like, oh, it's our sukkah. Like I'm thinking it's literally like a play tent or something because it looks kind of like that. I don't know. And it was just like a random makeshift. And they were like, no, it's our sukkah. And you know, we're gonna eat in it, and Daddy's gonna sleep in it. I'm like, Daddy's not gonna sleep in the sukkah. Like, what are you talking about? Like, yes, like these families are. It was real for them, and that's what I always say. With all these things, it seems crazy, and that's why I really encourage, like, whenever I'm like talking to people who are either like less religious on a religious journey, like. Being an unapologetic religious Jew is like what made it real for me, looking in. Like, you know, I thought it was insane, but then to see the kids actually be like, you know, and also their kids, right? Like, so serious. So them telling me that, like, when Mashiach comes, like, a bird is going to take us to Israel. And I was like, you think maybe like a plane? No, like a bird. Like, they're, you know, they're telling me, like, that what
is there business class on this bird? Do they have hot towels? Will the bird give hot towels and perhaps a nice meal, a warm meal? But no, I think but I think that's incredible because you see a sukkah for the first time and you're like, why are you guys eating and sleeping in this hut?
What do you have a nice gazebo built to
beautiful, and also you have bedrooms you know, with like real ceilings
Yeah.
and not a schach made of bamboo in the elements and it's pouring on you.
Also, Pesach was like, I remember I walked into his
Pesach.
house, the whole kitchen covered in tinfoil. And at this point,
Right.
I'm well versed, like working in the Jewish community. And I just am like, all right, well, what now?
Right.
Like, I wasn't just like, my first thought, maybe in the beginning, it would have been like, oh, maybe they're doing construction. But like the second I remember like walking into the kitchen, seeing it covered in tinfoil, I'm like, all right, what Jewish thing is this?
Right.
It's gotta be some type of crazy tradition.
Right.
And the kids would explain it to me with such like, I feel like as adults we'll be like, oh, to like maybe the cleaning ladies or the nannies, oh, don't worry about it, it's something for a holiday. But the kids were like, oh no, we do that for the homies, and like they have all these like,
Right.
it's truth for them and it's truth for us, but they're not ashamed and it's amazing.
And then the first time you see someone shaking a giant palm branch and a big bumpy lemon in every direction, like we just won something, like, yay, look at us. You must say to yourself, this is odd. But then now that you're on the other side of it, you see that it's significant, that it represents something,
Yes.
and that what we're doing is not crazy, but beautiful. It's
You're
crazy beautiful.
You're gonna love this because I can't tell these stories myself anymore because like I am Jewish and have known this for a while. But one of my friends has like a non-Jewish coworker, and he looks pretty Jewish. Like not gonna lie, like brown curly hair, whatever. We're gonna say stereotypes. Whatever you're gonna
Right.
say, everyone's gonna cancel me. But
Right.
he says, oh yeah, like you guys are Jewish, you guys are Orthodox Jewish. Everyone always stops me on the street. And they try to ask me if I'm Jewish. He goes, one time they even tried to hand me like a tree or something. And I said, I don't have anywhere to put this tree. They were totally going to try to get this guy to shake the lulav in the Ezra.
Wow.
The Chabad guys, you know what I mean?
Of course.
Outside the streets.
The put on
We're
spin
like-
Chabad guys
We're
that we
like
love.
cracking up in tears. Like, oh my gosh, they're probably giving this guy who is totally not Jewish. He's like from the countryside.
Right.
And
You wake up one morning, your first morning in the house, and you're like, why is the father wrapping himself in leather? I gotta get out of here.
I always like make a joke. The fathers, those men, like I went years never even meeting the men who zelled me for all those years for their babysitting their kids because they were always at work, they were going to daven, and I would always just get a zell from like Yehuda Gerstein, Avram, da-da-da. I'm like, whose family is this? Oh, that's like Ellie's mom. That's okay. That's Elise's that, whatever.
Right.
Like I only ever knew like the families by the kids, but like I never even saw the men so much except. Yeah, obviously, I did babysit a couple times on Yom Kippur when they all wore white, and yeah, they were all complaining about having to not eat, and
then you get to sneak off and eat lunch. Yeah.
yeah.
And then how has your life changed? Like, it must be such a drastic thing just to go from not only being not Jewish, but converting to Judaism and then Orthodox Judaism with all of that. So how has your life changed? Like, what are you feeling? Are you happier? Is your mental health better? Like, what has it done to change your life?
I feel being Jewish has made me just completely rewire my brain to be more mindful, more grateful. Like, whenever I wake up in the morning as a non-Jew, I used to get out of bed and maybe grab my phone, grab a snack. Like, and I always say, like, as a non-Jew, like, I never thought about God until I was in trouble, like needed him.
Right.
And even like we do that today sometimes as Jews, I have to even watch myself newly converted even as of this year. But like as a Jew, I wake up, the first thing I say is Moda'ani. Thank you, Hashem, for waking me up in the morning. I did not have to wake up this morning. You had faith in me. Why did you wake me up this morning?
Yeah.
And then we can go say Asher Yatzar. Like, our body works. There's people, they don't have a working body, working body. Then I can go make a bracha on my clean water, my snack. Like, I'm so grateful and so blessed. And I just think overall being Jewish makes me mindful and aware and alive. And yeah, just makes the cheesy classic answer, just elevates every mundane thing.
It does elevate. I always say that
Hashem.
people say we're chosen, and that's used negatively. We're chosen people. I say we're an elevated people because we elevate ourselves closer to Hashem.
Yeah.
So it's not that we're better. We're just elevated. We're just trying to be holier and more connected to the original source.
Listen, I have non-Jewish family, and so like I'm never gonna be that like my non-Jewish family. They're amazing. They're Christian.
You didn't drop them?
They didn't drop me, Baruch Hashem.
Thank God, by the way. How do we get rid of this Jew broad now? Yeah.
Every single like question I always get asked, like, what's your family thinking? No, like they love me and they support me and they try to understand my life. But I would say there's meant to be Jews, there's meant to be non-Jews. Like as Jews, like Hashem wants us to be a light unto the nations, and we do that, I think, by just like, I don't know, gaining all that inspiration through every opportunity that Hashem gave us to connect in this mundane world, you know?
It's incredible.
And as somebody who was
Yes.
So someone who's
A non.
Yeah, a non. Someone who didn't have that. I just, life is so much, has better, more substance. And yeah, with mental health, I always feel Hashem is carrying me. My conversion was very toxic on my mental health. I was
Really?
Yeah, I was super depressed. Like I couldn't tell.
As you were converting?
Yeah, the conversion process is awful. It's so hard and it's long and it's emotionally taxing just because you never know when you're going to become Jewish. And everyone's conversion process is different. But what made mine 20 times harder, I think, is because I had this social media presence that everyone was always asking me, oh my gosh, like, why aren't you just converting? Like, are you going to convert? Like, you dress like this, you dress sneeze, or you know, you're not using your phone. Are you going to convert? Or my favorite question was just, why don't you just convert if you're so obsessed with the Jews? And I'm like, if you only knew how hard it was, it's so heartbreaking. But I always say, like, I came to a time in my conversion where, like, I was so broken down and I just had to completely let go. And I realized, like, there were other times in my life where, like, Hashem carried me through those times. And I found out I was standing in my room, my beautiful 1-bedroom apartment in Boca Raton. I paid for everything myself. I had worked so hard to get to where I was. I worked hard, right? But Hashem gave it to me and carried me to that place. I was like, why am I crying, Adriana? You know, I was like, how selfish of me, honestly, what I thought. You know, Hashem's giving me so much, he'll give it again. And I can pretty sure.
That's amazing. We're going to wrap it up, but I want to ask a serious question.
Okay.
Have you, now as a new Jew, experienced anti-Semitism?
Well, I don't want to take too long of an answer.
No, it's okay.
The first time I feel like I experienced anti-Semitism was, I might have just been converting, but like not really into things so much. But I was always dressing sneeze for like certain nanny jobs. Mm-hmm. I was dressed sneeze, long skirt, sweater, even headband, whatever, in the Boca Town Center. And I tried to deny like a perfume sample man, and he started yelling at me in Arabic and was like, something.
Okay.
You Jewish people. And I just whipped around and told him, like, I'm not Jewish, even though I look like this.
Right.
And he was like so dumbfounded. But like that versus social media, like what I always say is I feel very oddly protected by Hashem when it comes to anti-Semitism. I think that if you know, keep your eyes open, like anybody could be criticized for anything in this world, and Jews definitely are persecuted against. Yes. But with my social media in particular, I feel oddly protected. I think it's just because I don't experience as much hate as I think a lot of other creators do. I don't know why. I always just chalk it up to be that my comment section is so positive. Like, it's all full of such love and support from the Jewish people that anybody who does come and comment, like, free Palestine or something terrible, right, they get attacked by like all my Jewish followers, and they're like, not here. Like, don't come here. And I think it's a lesson to all of us to be just so proudly united, and proudly Jewish, because when your light is shining so bright, like, there's no room for the darkness. They don't belong here. And that's kind of my experience. I've been really lucky thus far. But
you are a shining light in a world that can be quite dark.
You're a star too.
No, you are. And welcome, by the way. Welcome to Judaism.
Yeah.
And I hope it is everything that you want out of it and more. And, this conversation is why Unite to Heal exists. And that's why you should get involved at home with Amudim, helping people get through anything.
I love Amudim.
Yes.
They're a really great charity, a really great organization. And yeah.
And they were there for you when you needed that help, when you were struggling with, like, how do I get through this conversion and just stay grounded and focused? And they were there to help. So thank you, Amudim. And thank you, Adriana. You are an inspiration. You're awesome. Thank you. I would hug you, but you're Jewish now. We don't high five.